Welcome to another episode of Hear Me When I Say podcast. I'm your boo, Lady T. And we are here talking all things telecommunicating and first responders, primarily telecommunicators. And I just thought about something. Well, no, before I go into I thought about something. If you are hearing the water and the waves in the back, then you are correct. I am doing just that. I got near a beach. It's a small one, but nonetheless, it's still a beach. It still counts. And I am here. I am enjoying it. My happy place. So if you can't get to the beach, just live vicariously through me right about now, okay? The waves are definitely coming in, and they are a little loud, but hopefully you can still hear me good enough. I got my Bluetooth in, so hopefully that is kind of picking up my voice a little more than it's picking up the waves. We'll see. And let's get started. So it's Self-Care Sundays, and we are talking all things telecommunicating, and this is one of the few things, or one of the many things that I like to do as my self-care hobby, my self-care tools, tips, techniques. I don't know what word you want to use for it, but this is one of the things I like to do for my self-care, my mental health, my happy space, my stress reliever, all of the things. And this past week was really overwhelming for me, should I say. Not necessarily, it was a little stressful, but it was more overwhelming than anything, because working overnight and then going to school first thing in the morning. So I didn't get off work till 7 in the morning. My class started at 9:30 in the morning. So I literally drove to school, took a nap in my car, went to class at 9:30, and then my last class didn't end until 4:10 in the afternoon. So now I had to go home, try to get a little bit of sleep by 6 or 7, and then go right back to work at 11. So mind you, I didn't have much rest with that turnaround time. In addition to that, this week I attended a dispatchers conference for 3 days in a row. So even when I got off work, I go to class. I had to leave class. Well, one of my classes was canceled, thank goodness. And I ended up leaving at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon to go catch the rest of the conference until 5 in the evening. And then still going home, getting a little bit of rest, and trying to do it all over again throughout the week. Then I traveled. Started to travel, and I drove about 6 hours to get to my destination, and I still had things to tend to during my my weekend getaway. So it was a lot going on for me on minimal sleep. Needless to say, it's hard when you are working overnight, but you want to attend events, school, conferences, activities, and they operate on daytime. So I didn't go to sleep till 5 in the morning. Had to be right back up at 7:30 to get my event going. You know, to show up at the event by 8 o'clock. And that's not good for you. I'm going to be honest, that's not good for you. But that's the sacrifices that we as first responders, telecommunicators, or anybody who works overnight have to juggle or balance, because you still want to have a social life, you still want to have a hobby, you still want to show up in other arenas outside of just work, sleep. So that's how my week went, okay? That's how my week is still going, okay? Because I still have a 6-hour commute to make even when I finish recording this video, and who knows what time I'll get home and show up first thing Monday at 9:30 for class. It's what I got on my plate, but I am still doing my due diligence to record a video, still doing my due diligence to make sure that I'm intentional about what I have to say to you all, that is quality content, and that I'm very consistent. So I'm still just making time for that right now. So this one might not be a long recording. I'll probably keep it short and sweet and simple. But I still want to make sure that I show up for you guys. Just the same way that I'm being intentional about showing up for myself. To be an example of what it looks like to still show up for yourself and be consistent. And this is one of my things. I'm showing up for myself at the beach just for a few minutes, just to hear the sounds. Just take a breather with me. Just breathe. Just matter of fact, I'm gonna tell them so you can have the scenery to go with it. How about that? We ain't even gonna play like that. Go ahead, come on, rock out with me. Can you see it? I hope y'all can see it. Let me move my head out the way. See what I mean? Like, it's real. Like, this ain't no audio recording. This ain't no blue screen behind me. This is all real. Well, I have to take my shoes off, but like, we doing all the things. Ooh, this water mad dirty though. Don't judge me. Water dirty, but it still feels good though. So water ain't the best over here. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That we ain't in the islands just yet. We ain't in the Bahamas and all of that just yet. But it'll do for now, okay? It still serves its purpose. It still gets the job done. It still helps. Every little bit helps in a big way. And this is helping me. So I'll take it. And plus it gives me something to look forward to on a bigger scale in the future. You know what I mean? If this is what I can get here, imagine what I'm going to get when I make those bigger trips and I can stay longer and, you know, do all the things. So before we go any further into this episode, let's go ahead and let's pray. We're going to welcome the Holy Father into this conversation, because without him, I wouldn't be here. Without him, this platform would not be here. So I would not do you all any justice if I don't start with the person who is the head of my life, the ruler in my life, and the person who gave me this assignment, the person who gave me the permission and the blessing to even do this. So, Father God, I pray right now that you please come into this conversation. Holy Spirit, I invite you into this conversation. I thank you right now for this platform. I thank you right now for the people that are going to come onto this platform, that's going to see this video, Father God, because you do not make mistakes. Nothing happens by accident. So they are not clicking on this video for no reason. They're not liking and subscribing and following and sharing this video for no reason, Father God. So if you allow them to come to this video, then I pray that there is a message for them, Father God. And if it's not for them, it's for a friend, a family member, an associate that is connected to them, that you may need to get this video through them to the right person, Father God. But I know that you don't make mistakes, Father God. So I pray right now that you please speak through me. I pray that when they hear this message, that they hear you in this message. And I pray that it is something in this message for everybody who hears this message, Father God. In your mighty name, I thank you right now. I pray that I decrease so that you may increase, and that you may speak through me to the people that you need to reach and speak to on this platform and in this community. In your mighty name, I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. Amen. Get off me, mosquito. See, the devil always trying to be busy. Trying to be busy. Ugh. When I have a mosquito and I'm trying to sit here and set us up right as we get ready to go into this episode. Anyways, back to what we were saying. I just realized we're at the end of the month of August. And so the 1st of September is actually Suicide Prevention Month. I didn't know that. Suicide Awareness Month. One of the two. But either way, when I went to the telecommunicator conference this week, that was some of the main things they were talking about. PTSD. They were talking about stresses, traumas, the triggers, vicarious trauma, compassion fatigue, and all of those wonderful things. And I was just like, wow. You know, you're educating me on all of those things. Those are the things that I'm already moving forward to talk about on this platform to bring awareness to for all of us, primarily telecommunicators, because we are in the call centers and people think that all we do is just sit at the desk and punch keys on a keyboard. They think that we just talk all day as if I'm having a regular conversation like this, not understanding the stress that comes with it, and it's mental stress. And the mental stress a lot of times stays with you longer than the physical stress that's in your body. But a lot of times the mental stress transfers over into physical stress into your body. And it makes it that much harder for you to get rid of one, if not both. The only other thing about that is because we are the ones who are trained to show up to save other people during their emergencies, during their traumas, we're not trained to ask for help during our traumas. Because I remember having a caller call and they cursed me out and everything, and it triggered the little girl in me. It triggered when I used to be verbally abused and things of that nature growing up. And I was just like, who are you talking to? Because I couldn't speak or defend myself as a little girl. You gotta respect your elders. You can't back talk. You can't sass them from, the era that I grew up in. And with that being said, that little girl was silenced for so many years. And now that I'm an adult, what you not gonna do is disrespect me. What you not gonna do is talk to me any kind of way like you done lost your mother loving mind. That's what you not gonna do. But I did not know when applying for this job that these people gonna talk to you like that. And because you're in the service industry and you're here to serve them, a lot of them call you with an entitlement attitude. And a lot of them call you with that, you gotta come anyway, you gotta help me anyway, you don't have a choice. And it's just like, you're crossed between a rock and a hard spot, because at the end of the day, you are human. And they don't want nobody to talk to them like that. But yet they feel very comfortable and well within their rights to talk to you like that. But they the ones that called you for help. So it plays on your mental because you want to respond back to them on their human nature. And you sometimes forget the professional or the business nature. But at the same time, what do you do when you're being triggered at that moment and you want to just put them in their place? You want to correct them. You want to shut them up. You know what I mean? You want to humble them real quick, immediately. But you realize half the time those people are talking from a place of fear, a place of scared, and it comes out as anger because they can't control their situation. They don't know what to do with their situation. And this is the only way they know how to show they're scared and they're frustrated. They don't have the answers and they need you. I think that's a stupid way to respond when you're feeling scared or nervous or anxious. But, when you look at studies and definitions, that's what they try to justify it as. Whatever. With that being said, it still doesn't help the fact that I feel suppressed all over again. Like the little girl I was being suppressed, where I can't talk back, I can't buck back, I can't say what I need to say back to them right in the heat of the moment, especially on a recorded line. And it plays on your psyche, because now you holding it in like, help is on the way. Just listen to me. Help is on the way. All right. And it's like you trying to ignore it, but it doesn't make it okay. So where does that sit at with you? Where do you feel that in your body? You feel it in your mind for sure. You feel it in your mouth, because your mouth want to say a whole lot of other things. But at the same time, it's like you feel it in your body. Like your shoulders might raise up. Like hold up. Who you? Your shoulders are raised up. You might feel it in your back or your neck. Things of that nature. And we carry that. Because as soon as that call is over, You get one or two things. You get that, oh my gosh, that caller, and you might can whoops out about it. A lot of times not. That call is there and your energy is here, and then you gotta go straight to the next. What's the address of the emergency? How can I help you? And your entitlement, you know? And if you're blessed, if you're lucky, you can get some time down before the next call comes so that you can diffuse it. Most often not. If you're lucky or blessed, on the second side of that, you can get another call right after that, but that call is a lot more calm. That caller listens to you, follow your instructions, and you're able to assist them a lot smoother and more effectively. So that would be one of the two blessings that you can get after having a call like that. Most often, not all the time. So you're already here, and then you get another call with attitude and back talk, and they don't want to answer your questions. They don't want to cooperate, so it takes you here. And it's like, all right, help is on the way. Click, and you get that next one. What's the address of the emergency? Well, I need it, and it takes you there, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know? And it's like, what do we do? Because I thought about it. Even the ambulance units, they get on the scene of a call. Family members are screaming over here, the patient over here. They trying to, tell them get back so we can treat the patient and things of that nature. And it's hectic for them. There's a lot going on. I get it. They may be able to get the patient in the back of the ambulance, and nobody rides with that patient. They get a break. They get a breather. If it is a family member riding in the back, maybe not as much of a breather, depending on how anxious and how overwhelming and how micromanaging the family member might be. But once they drop that patient off at the hospital, they get that breather while they're in the car, while they're wiping down their cart, while they're changing the sheets on their car, while they're loading the cart in the ambulance unit, and they're driving either to their post to wait for another call, or as they're driving to the next call, they can breathe. They can get that regrouping. Even with law enforcement, even with firefighters and police officers, you get to drive for a few minutes before you show up on scene for the next call. But what do we get as telecommunicators? Where's that break for us in from one call to the next? So it's that compound stress, that compound triggers if you get triggered back to back to back. And like I said, a lot of times, if you had any physical harm done to you, the bruise will go away. The swelling will go down. But if you have a mental trauma, I'm sitting right here and that thought is still there. A week later, a month later, you can sit here and say, I'm going to forget about it. I'm going to think about the sun and the clouds and the waves. And that thought can come right back. And a lot of times, if you don't know how to compartmentalize or how to forgive and release it, that feeling will come right back along with the thought. So, I don't know if you've ever watched a Medea movie, but in some of her episodes, she'll talk about certain things, and then she'll be like, I just got mad all over again. That thing just pissed me off. Ooh, it upset me all over again. So, if you know what that feels like, the thought, to think about it, now you done got upset all over again. Now your blood pressure done went back up. And it's the thought. The situation has passed, but the mental, it replays, and sometimes it can show back up fresh in your mind as if it's still happening right now, or as if it just happened right now all over again. Trust me, I lived in a repeat cycle for years with certain situations that's occurred in my life traumatically. So I would tell the story all over again because I felt like my voice wasn't heard the last time, and I didn't get no solution the last time. But I wasn't telling it from a place of being hurt because I knew it was over. But I always said it with so much passion and so much detail because that's how I saw it. That's how it happened in my mind. And I really wanted you to understand what happened. But learning now that when I replay stories or when I retell stories to people, you can kind of tell it in a way where it doesn't make you cry all over again, or it doesn't make you get angry all over again, and your blood pressure doesn't shoot up all over again, just to talk about it. But that's the mental health part of it that a lot of people are not aware of. That's the mental health part that a lot of people are not making the connection with. And so having the conversations, right now with you guys, that September is Mental Health Awareness Month. In a couple of more days, literally in a couple more days, we're about to be in Suicide Prevention Month. And I just want you to know that it's easy to spiral. It's easy to be triggered with that one thing. It could remind you of something, and next thing you know, you're going down a rabbit hole and you don't know how to get out of it, but you don't even know how to even say that you're going down this hole, let alone I need help. And if you can just pay attention to yourself, just pay attention to when your shoulders rise, pay attention to when your neck, get a little tight, when that headache comes out of nowhere that you have not had or dealt with in a while. Just pay attention. Pay attention to when your chest just start getting a little bit tighter than normal, and it's not as a reflex, okay? And sometimes you can pay attention to when you eat food and all of a sudden now you just got loose stool all of a sudden. It's because you're holding stress in your stomach, and it can create more acid in your stomach, and it can give you loose stool. You can have diarrhea for whatever, but it could be a stress trigger for you. You could be constipated. You upset, you don't got an appetite, you're not in the mood to drink nothing, you're not in the mood to eat nothing, now you're dehydrated and your bowels is sticky now. You can't go to the bathroom. It can be a lot of different reasons. People get insomnia. Some people sleep too much. Just because I don't want to think about it, I'm going to sleep. You think, you get exhausted, and that's all you do is sleep. You wake up and you're thinking and you're still exhausted, and you're like, I'm just going right back to sleep because this is where I'm calm. This is where the stress is relieved. This is my temporary happy place, so you just stay there. But you can't stay there when you live in. You gotta find a way to that can exist, and you can still move forward with life. Like, you can't ignore it. I don't want you to act like it doesn't exist, but I don't want it to stop you from living, moving forward, and getting past it and overcoming. I want you to still be able to do it, but not sleep. So, with that being said, I want all of us to be intentional about getting ready to go into the month of September. Looking out for one another. This is one of the things I had to talk with somebody at my job in a supervisory position, and I was just like, hey, I want to have a conversation with my peers. I want to have a conversation with the new peers that's getting ready to come into the call center, and just let them know to be aware of their self. Be aware of how their surroundings make them feel at the job, at home, out and about, when they're in public and things of that nature, because it's very important that we learn how to respond to our emergencies first, because you ain't no good to nobody else if you yourself ain't good, and that's just the truth. So I want to talk to them about it, and they was like, that's not our job. Says who? That's not our responsibility. Why ain't it? It's our job to give them the resources. Just give them the resources, and it's up to them to utilize it or not. Excuse me? No offense, but without this camera facing me, I wouldn't be able to see what my face looked like. I wouldn't see if I got stuff here, if I got stuff here. I wouldn't be able to see if my head was all over the place had I not had this mirror. A lot of times we're like this, which means I don't have a mirror to help me see myself. So I need my partner. My partners in the call center, my family, my friends. I need them to be my mirror for me when I don't have a mirror in front of me. And with that being said, we need to be each other's accountability partner. Even in the call center, if you know that this is my tone, hey, how you doing? Girl, we're gonna get through this night. It's gonna be okay. And then tonight I come in, I be like, yeah, I'm alright. We're gonna have a good night. So I ain't saying nothing negative, but at the end of the day, my energy ain't where it normally is. So with that being said, call me out on it. Tef, what's good? You're not your normal bubbly self. You're not looking okay. What's up? And sometimes don't accept I am okay. I'm okay. I'm good. Sometimes don't settle for that. Don't. If you being nosy just to be nosy, just so you can go gossip to the next person who you know don't rock with that person, then stop, because you can make it worse. Especially if the person you talking to have a clear understanding that y'all know y'all don't rock with each other like that. Don't be fake. Don't do it. But if you are one of those people who genuinely have a sincere concern, like we not buddy, but at the same time, I don't want to see you suffer. I don't want to see the next person hurt because you are human just like I'm human. Then thank you. Thank you for showing up, stepping up, being genuine. Like, I don't need to know all your business. I don't need to know your personals. I just want to know for sure, are you okay? And if not, then how can I help you at least get through this hump? Because there are people that's going to show up in your life for a long time, for a season, and sometimes just for a situation, temporary. So if a person is coming to you and you know you don't rock with them, and they stepping outside their comfort zone to check on you, which is a role that somebody you rock with normally plays, 9 times out of 10, that's probably God sending them your way to answer your heart's cry, to answer that prayer you were secretly and silently praying inside. And a lot of times, if you're the other person on the other end who feels that nudge, like, I should go, they ain't looking right, I should go say something, like, maybe I don't want to go talk to them, like, I don't rock with them, but they don't look good either. Like, what I learned in the class this past week, especially for suicide prevention, is if you don't feel comfortable talking to them, find somebody that you know they are genuinely buddy with or cool with, and say something to them and say, hey, can you go check on your friend? I noticed they don't look too good, but I know I don't rock with them like that, but I don't want to find out later on that something happened to them. So can you go check on them and just make sure they good? I don't need to know the situation, but can you just go make sure your friend is good? And okay, waves. Okay. They getting a little rowdy. I guess it's my audience. They's like, yes, girl. Yes. These waves are screaming at me right now. Because they started off a little bit more calm. Look. The water coming up higher and everything. So, okay. I'm going to take it. Go ahead, waves. Talk to me. Let me know I'm on the right path with what I'm saying. So, with that being said, I believe that if you, who is someone who know you don't rock with that person, but for whatever reason their behavior caught your attention, the words they said, their actions, their expressions just caught your attention, and you concerned, but it's a genuine concern, not a I'm nosy, I want to gossip, whatever concern, but a genuine concern, a genuine nudging in that gut check of yours. I think it would stand out to that person more if you spoke. It's going to be awkward. Let's be clear about that. It's going to be awkward. But hear me when I say, having somebody come to me and say, hey, I noticed, or I saw the last couple of days or whatever that your tone is different, or your whatever. If it's somebody who don't like being hugged, but they know I'm a hugger, and they came to me and be like, I noticed you ain't been hugging people lately. I'm not saying hug me, but I noticed that you ain't been hugging people lately. You alright? I'm going to look at them like, what does it matter? What do you care? Because I know we don't rock. And the fact that they took the time to pay attention to somebody that's not in their inner circle lets me know that my situation must be that obvious. Let me do a self-check. Let me not be on the defense. Let me not get offended. And let me really take a survey of myself and be like, okay, God, this must be you trying to get my attention to tell me, like, I might be going down and not even realize that I'm going down, because you know how we put on that facade, like, I'm okay, I'm going to be okay, because they tell you, most jobs outside of telecommunicating, all jobs tell you, leave your personal at the door when you clock in. Come in, focus on doing the job, and when you're done, you can clock out and then go to the door and pick up your personal baggage, and then you go home and deal with it accordingly. A lot of times when you at work, you can't have that separation. I had that talk with the person in the supervisory position as well, because I was like, I had a miscarriage. I had to deliver my baby at 5.5, 6 months, pregnant. Okay? My pregnancy was not viable. I had to make a decision to let the baby go after I was already car seat shopping, stroller shopping, and some more stuff. And now you're telling me this is not going to be. And I got to make the decision on what I'm going to do next moving forward. And it's like, wait, what? And now, after having the situation, because I could walk just fine, the bleeding is under control, I don't need to be home bedridden, but it don't mean my mental and my heart is still not grieving right now. And I get that phone call with a mother crying because she's in the bathroom on the floor having a miscarriage. What woman in her hormonal right mind isn't going to be triggered by that? Isn't going to start feeling the tears welling up, trying to come out in your voice, ma'am, yeah, so, like, how you supposed to sound certain and sure and reassuring for them when you yourself situation was not a positive outcome? And it just happened within the last 24, 48, 36 hours. Come on. Let's be realistic with us as telecommunicators. How you gonna sit here and let me be clear. It can go for the men too. Because even though you as the male telecommunicator, you had a wife or a girlfriend or a significant other that y'all maybe planned this pregnancy together. Y'all went through IVF or y'all did it naturally. And you're by her side at the doctor's appointments and you're rubbing her back and her belly and her feet and doing all the things, late night ice cream runs, losing sleep with her. And it's like, damn, I mean, excuse my language, but that disappointment, hits you too. And now you're taking a call with a female crying to you and you're like, my lady was crying to me and I couldn't even help my lady, my wife or my boo or my whatever you want to call her, my bae, keep our baby in there. How can I reassure her and I can't even reassure my own? It's those things. It makes you question. It makes you second guess. It makes you really feel a type of way about your role in this job, which is to save lives, which is to reassure them that things are going to be okay, for the positive. Give them hope. Our job is to give them hope. And all the hope that we thought we had for ourselves is out the window. At the hospital. In the toilet. Or wherever it's at, You could be recently in a car accident and you had to Uber to work. And somebody calling you because they got an offender bender. But your is total. Come on, you calling me about this. But you still got your health, your life, and your car. And I'm sitting here still trying to wait when my Uber gonna come to get me and drop me. I gotta get up an extra hour early and some more stuff to still show up and save your life. It's really, really hard for us to show up at a job knowing this job is bringing nothing but everybody's problems. We clock in to save lives, to reassure you, to offer a solution to your problem, even though we may not always be able to solve all your problems. And we have to face the reality that we too have car accidents. We too, lose kids or parents. I lost my mother. We lose parents. And then we have to show up to reassure you about your situation. But ours was gone. Or we lost ours. It's hard for you to sit here and tell me to leave my personal at the door, focus on saving them and theirs, and then I could pick mine up. Wait, that is the most selfish, selfless, contradicting request any job could ever ask of us, in my mind, I think, anyway. But if that's what we gotta do, at least we can kind of link up with one another and be like, all right, I know you just had your personal situation. All of these calls may not trigger you. You might have a whole shift where you never get triggered. But if you do get triggered, let me know, and I will either tell you to put that call on hold, and I'll pick up that call and I'll finish processing it for you. and let you take another call. When you get off that call, go on break. Clock out. I mean, not clock out, but put your mic on mute, take your headset off, and take a walk. Go to the bathroom, sit in there, take a few deep breaths, and collect yourself. But don't just sit there at that desk, letting it compile, and you just take the next call and take the next call. That ain't how that's going to work, because you're going to explode at some point. Okay? So feel your feelings. They're very much real. And you are entitled to those feelings. You can't disconnect at all times, because some of those calls just get you. I took a call where you heard shooting in the background, but you heard screaming, you hear tires screeching, and they talking about this 8-year-old little girl got shot, and the mother's holding the baby, saying, help me what to do, tell me what to do, tell me what to do. And I'm trying to stop. Look, I'm trying to get past the screaming so I can give you the bleeding control instructions while typing notes to my responders, letting them know what they about to arrive on scene into, what situation they about to drive into, and give you instructions. So multitasking at its finest, keeping my anxiety at its lowest to the best of my abilities, because we know it's a kid, it's a little girl. And if you have kids in that age range, you can identify all the more. And then, God forbid, they be like, oh, they're here, click. And the next day or so, you see that little girl's face on the news, on the screen. And now you hear the voice of the mother or the family member of that little girl, and then you see the face of who was shot. And it's like, dang. Did I dispatch fast enough? Did I give her all the instructions fast enough? Did I give her the instructions the right way so that she could apply them the right way as quick as possible until my partners could get on scene to take over it? Did I do this right? Did I do that right? And it makes you go down a checklist, and you just get in your head about it. And then you're going to tell me the next time another call comes, and you be like, my baby, stop right there. Hear me when I say, a lot of times when they start with that, you go back to the last my baby call, and you're already anticipating, like, okay, what about this baby? And what do I got to do? And what do we got to, you know what I mean? So it's a mental situation. I'm not going to say it's a mental game, but it's a mental environment that we're really in, and it plays a toll on us mentally and then in our physical. And it could play with your diet, it could play with your sleep, it just plays with all the things. So with just know that what we do is not just sit and take phone calls as if we're Walmart customer service, as if we are Disney Cruise Line customer service and you want a refund for your ticket. You can't call us and get a refund on the life that was lost. Like, you just can't. You can't call us and get a refund for the car that was totaled and you want us to reimburse you. That's not the type of job that we do, even though they want us to provide customer service over the phone. I'm in the business of providing life-saving instructions, skills, and resources to you, not a product that you can walk home with. It's just not the nature of our job. So as much as we're going to try to be polite, we're going to be respectful, we're going to be reassuring, life-saving comes first. Scene safety comes first. Niceness comes when it comes. And that's just the technique of it. But after all of that is said and done, where are you standing within yourself, mentally, emotionally, physically? Where are you standing spiritually? Because I promise you, some of these calls, baby, hear me when I say some of these calls be trying to take me all the way out of my character, okay? They be trying to have me put the cross over here for a second, like you just sit right here. Jesus sit right there. Let me go ahead and handle that on a one-on-one level, and then I'll come back to you, and we can be a Christian again in a few minutes. They be trying you. Lord knows they try you, but you can't forget that. Because, you know, according to my belief, and it's my belief, whatever you worship, whatever spirituality you identify with, then that's the instructions And that's the boundaries and the guidelines that you apply to your life, and you apply to how you operate and move, and how you serve yourself, and how you serve the people that you come in contact with. As for me, and I can only speak about me, I have to treat my neighbors like I treat myself. You know what I mean? Love your neighbors as you love yourself. And so it's hard because some of my neighbors can be my enemies. But at the end of the day, you're still human. God still created you. He put breath in your body to show up today to sit next to me. So I still have to at least give you that much grace, and give you that much kindness. And I let God do the rest. Because sometimes I don't have the capacity. I just don't. And that's just checking in with me for that day. God, today ain't that day. I'm going to need you to fix it, Lord. Fix it. Fix them, fix me, fix it. But today ain't that day. I ain't got the capacity. But when you know that, then you know you got to move a little bit different. You got to pivot, you know, until today is that day. And then you can handle it accordingly. So, I don't know if this conversation is... These mosquitoes be trying to play with me. I need them to go somewhere. But at the end of the day, I don't know if any of this is resonating with you. I hope it is. I hope that I am making sense with what I'm saying. I want to make sure that I'm bringing clarity to some things, because I want you to understand how serious it is when you feel like you are alone, when you feel like you're suffering by yourself. Because for me, losing my daughter, I had to carry her, nobody else. She left my body, nobody else's body. I had to heal the physical wounds of giving birth, but then I still had to deal with the emotionals of, did I do everything right? Did I make the right decision? And I had to figure out how to forgive myself and give myself grace and not feel bad. But at the same time, I have to still recognize that I can still save the next person, or I can still send resources as quick as possible. I can now empathize when that person calls on the phone and they're scared, they're nervous, they feel helpless because they can't control the situation just like I couldn't control mine. I can give them a different tone from a different place within myself. But even when I get off that call, I feel a little bit better because I'm not alone. But at the same time, I'm not alone, but at the same time, I hopefully was the voice to them that I wish I had when I went through my situation, because I didn't have a voice. I didn't have nobody there with me or for me for my situation. And so with that being, with having that situation take place, I can't sit here and talk to somebody next to me who I know has never been pregnant before, or who have never lost a child. All of their kids are born healthy and they're strong. How many calls that might trigger me, that they're going to want to hear that over and over again. They might not have the capacity to be empathetic with me in that process, because grief never ends. The feeling of the loss never goes away. You know what I mean? But it's how I manage it. So when you feel like, you lost a family member or a friend, or your car, or your house, or the other job that you had, or you were trying to graduate school this semester and you failed the class because of your work-school balance was just too much for you, and you feel like you can't talk to whoever's next to you, but that call triggered you in some type of way. And then you go home, and you may have somebody at home waiting for you, a family member, or even a dog. Some people talk to their pets just to get it out. And you be like, I can't talk to them, because every single day you go home and you unload all of these traumatic calls to them. They be like, damn, do you ever have a happy day? Do you ever feel good about yourself? Why don't you just get another job? Why don't you just apply for another? You need to quit. That job ain't for you. If every day you got to come home, you complaining, you just need to get another job. That's not it. I signed up for this job to help make a difference in people's lives, but that don't mean that it's not going to be that much overwhelming, any less overwhelming. We signed up to be first responders, to be EMTs, to be police officers because we genuinely love making a difference in someone's life. But it doesn't mean that the blowback from the community still isn't going to hurt. It's almost like, I don't even know if this is a fair equivalence. I'm not even trying to equate it. I'm just trying to, how can I say it? I don't know. Let me just leave it alone. If you got an example, go ahead and give it to me. Drop it in the comments below. But I'm going to leave the examples alone. I think you know where I was about to go with it. But I'm going to let it go. Okay? I'm going to move on. But you don't feel comfortable talking to your family members. So now where do you go? I know me. I've lost quite a few friends. I've lost quite a few friends and associates because every time they talk to me, I was still unloading and I wasn't going to therapy. I knew nothing about therapy. I knew nothing about counseling. And so they were my counselors unbeknownst to me. I was using them in a counseling way and they were getting burnt out. They were like, every time I call her, she's going to go down this road and she's going to start venting again. And I'm tired of hearing about it. So they stopped answering my calls. They stopped wanting me to come around, or they stopped coming around me. And I definitely felt abandoned. I felt neglected. And I was just like, dang, what I do to you? I ain't do nothing to you. I mean, I'm calling to have a good time. So I thought. But lo and behold, somebody had to help me see that I was burning out my friends. I was burning out my associates. And so when you feel like you're burning out these people, you don't know where to turn to at that point. And as far as I'm concerned, I know they have NA meetings for Narcotics Anonymous. I know they have AA meetings for Alcohol Anonymous. I don't think they have TAs, Telecommunicator Anonymous, where us telecommunicators can come and talk. I know that I just recently got introduced to peer support. My company don't have peer support just yet. I saw an email where they said that they were talking about getting it set up, but they don't have it as of yet. So we don't have peer support just yet, which means, and then from my understanding, peer support is only when there's a major traumatic event that happens. Then they will set up a meeting for people to come who want to come, and they'll talk about how that incident made them feel. But where do you go to just have regular weekly check-ins or monthly check-ins, and you can vent and woosah and have the conversations like this, like, oh my gosh, that call was just, girl, I know, right, man, that thing, yeah, dude, this was, da-da-da-da-da, and that's right, we don't get that, and we need it. That way we don't burn out our partners right next to us who don't necessarily want to hear, who may not have the capacity for it. But we don't burn out our friends and our family. And I get it. I felt some type of way about going to the therapist because I felt if I say something wrong, like that caller just made me want to go ahead and finish cutting their throat for them. Like, wait, that's real graphic. But that caller was being mad disrespectful, like rude to the umpteen. And it makes you sometimes say, like, I understand why that person beat you. Because if you won't be spewing out all of these venomous words and this negative attitude, and I'm here trying to help you, I'd rather sit there and let you be in pain too. Because who asks for help and spit on you at the same time? Who sits here and say, oh, I need you to come and rescue me, but I'm going to beat you up at the same time? That's a contradiction. And so they be like, Tiffany, you're not supposed to say that. Why not? Excuse me, but I've never known somebody to say, hey, can you help me? But then at the same time, turn around and say, kiss my butt while you do it. Makes no sense. But they do it. So where can I express my genuine feeling about the contradiction that this person is displaying right now while demanding a service for me to provide for them, for their situation that I didn't put them in, that I ain't got no control over, and neither do they. But does it warrant you to be nasty? Absolutely not. Do I deserve to receive the nastiness when I ain't got nothing to do with it? Absolutely not. So is there a place for me to express how I don't deserve your nastiness? And if that's how you're going to be, maybe you deserve what you got. And that's just any human being who be like, karma Karma, this is karma, basically. So, this is that place. This is that place where we gonna say that. And we gonna feel how we feel. But at the same time, once we get it out, we realize that person was scared, anxious, whatever. They ain't had no better way to express it. Either way, they got the help they needed. Now we can release it and on to the next. But in the meantime, in between time, we still got to check our blood pressure. We still got to check our blood sugar. We still got to check our sleep patterns. We still got to check our tempers at the door. We still got to check the negative language that we use. Just because they use negative language don't mean we got to go negative with them. You know how Michelle Obama say, when they go high, you go low. It's easier said than done, but if we can do it together, or if we can hold each other accountable, because I promise you, hear me when I say it's easier said than done, but when I have somebody over here bearing my mirror like, hey, Tiff, girl, they ain't got to be that close to me. They ain't got to be in my face like that, but they can be like right here and be like, Tiff, remember we said we was going to chill? Like, that might not be nice. Like, come on, they having a bad day right now. Give them some grace. And I be like, all right, you right. I ain't feeling it right now, but because you right here and you checking me, alright, I'll give them a pass because you calling me out on it. But if you want here to call me out on it, honey, that pass might not be present for them to get, okay? So it can go both ways. I'm really a pleasant person. I'm really a sweetheart. I'm nice. I very rarely get upset or mad, but with all of the trauma and stuff I've had recently in my life, I realized that my cup is pretty full. I really don't have room to take on too much stress, too much trauma, too much drama, or any more negativity. Hence the reason why I'm really big on getting to my happy place, whatever that is. If the movies is your happy place, then make it a thing where you go to the movies once a week. If that ain't in your budget, because movies is mad expensive now, then make it a purpose to go to the movies once a month. But get to your happy place. And in the meantime, find the movies that you can get lost in at home on Netflix or Hulu for that 1 hour or that 2 hours. And make it feel like you're at the movies until your movie date does come back up. If it's going to the zoo, if it's going to the aquarium, then make that a thing. But have that go-to thing that you can get to within once a month if need be, so that you can just do this check-in and you can just do this. All right, I gotta get, today's Sunday. It's like, all right, I got class tomorrow, I got work this week, but for right now I got this, and this is what's gonna give me that woosah for a few minutes to help me reset, regroup, recharge, and then get ready to respond effectively to my best self, to whatever this week have in store for me. At school, at work, at home, with family, with friends, or with just the community. You know what I mean? So I want you all to just do that, okay? I've asked people, can you be my accountability partner? If you see me something, can you call me out on it? And they was like, no, you're an adult. You're responsible. You know when you're not supposed to be doing stuff. You know, then that's not the person for you. You're not my person. Because real talk, real friends be like, hey, boo, I thought you said you was going to clean out that pantry. I thought you said you was going to go ahead and set up that office space. What you waiting for? Let's get it done. They're your accountability partner because they want to see you strive. They want to see you do better. They want to see you heal. They want to see you become the best whole version of you. And if they got to call you, like, people will wake up and come knock on your door and say, all right, it's time to go take a jog. When you in the military, they hold each other accountable. They like, hey, let's go, get out your bunk, let's wake up. And guess what? They all succeed. They all graduate. They all strive. They all reach the goal collectively. And if we could do that in a call center, we may not necessarily have to be responsible for all of each other in the room. But if you pick one, just pick one that you feel okay with on your shift, or even on the opposite shift, and you do a text message check-in. Like, you're at home, they're at work, and you can be like, how the calls tonight? What's the call volume tonight? How you managing? And at the conference, one of the ladies told me that they live 9 hours away from one another, but they're like best friends, and they're in the same peer support group. And so they could text each other and be like, what's going on? And she'd be like, oh, I got da-da-da-da-da-da. And because she know what's on her agenda, she already knows that that person mental is locked in on getting the assignments done, and she's not going to stop until she get it done, which means she's not taking a break to eat. She's not thinking about hydrating. So what this person did was just Uber Eats or DoorDash her some food. She was like, where you at right now? Or I think they share their locations with one another. And she DoorDashed her some food. And then the next morning she was like, hey, I know you had a long week, so here's $7.20 for your coffee, because I know that that's how much your coffee is every day. And she just cashed out her the money for her coffee for that day. The little gestures are what makes the biggest difference, and sometimes that can go along. That can make somebody's whole 13, 14, 16 hour shift that much better. I promise you. Try it and see. And when you do it spontaneously, it makes it that much more sentimental and memorable. But at the same time, it's kind of like pay it forward, because that person know how it made them feel, and they'll probably do it forward to somebody else, if not give it back to you when they see you need it. And so those are some other tools and tips and techniques that I think would be good to apply. But that's what I learned at the conference this week. Just some of the things I learned in the conference this week. But I also learned that the suicide rate is really, really big with us as first responders. But as first responders, is that much bigger because we answer the calls. I got in a car accident. I was like, I'm not calling my job. My job is ambulance company. I was like, I'm not calling my job. They can hear my voice on the recording. I still got to answer the same dumb questions that I got to ask everybody else. I'm not doing that. Like, they was like, do you want me to come get you? I don't even know at this point. Like, I got pissed, you know what I mean? But I needed help. But I didn't know how to ask for the help, because you are them. So it was just like, I don't even know what to do. She was like, don't worry about it, I'll call for you. Like, she called for me and just gave them the address and the information or whatever. But at the end of the day, she was an accountability partner, and she helped me, and I got the help I needed. But had I not texted her and at least told her, like, guess what happened? I can't believe this. And she was just like, you want me to call you? Like, are you going to call? What you going to do? But you need help? Nah, I'm not. I'm not doing nothing. She's like, you got to do something. So sometimes you got to push past that person's first no. Sometimes push past that person's second no. Because if you say, are you okay? And they be like, yeah, I'm fine. And you push past it, that might be the last I'm fine you hear from them ever. That might be the last I'm okay that you hear from them ever. I'm going to tell you right now, where I'm at right now in Maryland, that bridge right there is, I believe, I could be wrong, one of the #1 bridges that people intentionally drive to just to jump off for suicide. Now, I can't say if any first responders or telecommunicators have ever attempted it, because I don't know their work classification. But I know intentionally that there have been at least 8 this year, maybe, people who have successfully made it all the way to the middle of that bridge, which is, I think, a 45 foot, something like that drop. I'm going to have to Google all the statistics. If you want, I can give it in the next video. But that bridge right there, people intentionally walk on it to fall into the water. And I think one person made it right there and hit the concrete. There's a gentleman hit the concrete. I think he survived. He was injured, but he survived. And some people survived, not so many survived. And that's not okay. Because if you see something, say something. And if you're not okay with saying something to them, try to find somebody you know is close to them that they will listen to. And nudge them to go say something. But if you're not okay, it's okay to not be okay. It's not okay to not say something and not accept the help. Because that next 911 call with that person who's going through may need your voice to be that next reassuring voice to them. Because my voice may not do it for them, but your voice may be the tone for them that reassures them, that give them that calmness, that give them that security that they're going to be okay, that help is on the way. And as much as we're short-staffed, it's not even about the short-staffedness. I just really think that God put us here for a reason, and it's not our time until He says it's our time. And trust me, I have had moments where I wasn't supposed to be here, and God had someone to come and save me, and He had them to pull up and get me, and physically pick me up, physically get me dressed, and physically put me in the car and get me to the hospital. I ain't going into details with that, but hear me when I say it's been more than once, and I know what it's like. And once I made it over that storm, once I made it out of that storm, I am thankful that I'm still here to see another day. I'm thankful that I'm here to know what it feels like to feel the water on my feet and my legs, and feel the sand in between my toes, and see the sun smiling on me from day to day. And it's not an easy conversation to have. I want to let you know that now. When you see someone who may be suffering with mental health, you got to be prepared for the answer you're going to get, for sure. Ooh, my sandals is about to float away. Hold on. Stop. Ah! But yeah. See, the devil getting busy again. Trying to distract me. The waves wasn't coming in like this at first. Devil, I need you to go somewhere. But as I was saying, when you what was I saying, Holy Spirit? Please remind me. What was I saying, Lord? Before I got distracted. What was I saying? Dad, what was I saying, y'all? I hate when you lose your train of thought. And it was a good thought, too. Woo! Feeling the sun on my face and smiling and being able to see another day. I don't know. It really just escaped me. But at the end of the day, I truly know what it feels like, personally, and to witness it. And not only just from a work standpoint, taking the calls, but from a personal standpoint. And it matters when people see you. It matters when they hear your heart cry. Not what your mouth say, but what your heart is saying, and you don't know how to get it out audibly or anything. It matters. So I just want us to be intentional moving forward per year, but also because we are going into Suicide Awareness Month, that if you see something, say something. Hi, thank you, Holy Spirit. It came back to me. Oh, this is a good picture with the sun behind me. Oh, I like that picture with the dog. Sorry, got distracted. 2.5 seconds again. I'm back. But be prepared to have the resources for them. So if they say, yes, I've been thinking about hurting myself. Yes, I kind of feel like I don't want to be here no more. So the signs that you was picking up on, you was right. Don't just be like, okay, well, maybe you need to get some help and I wish the best for you. No, you can't leave them. You can't leave them unless you know somebody else is right there with them that is qualified or that they trust. Otherwise, they're going to feel let down. They may feel abandoned. They may feel like you made fun of them or whatever. They may feel just something negative, and that might push them over the edge all the more. First of all, you discovered me. You outed my symptoms, so now you know I'm feeling this way, and now you just left me hanging, so you probably think I feel weird. Now I feel embarrassed. Now I'm really about to go ahead. I can't come back again. I can't let you see me. I can't face you ever again. You know what I mean? It can really go left real quick if you're not careful. So with that being said, the hard part is making the first step to ask the question, are you thinking about hurting yourself? Have you been feeling down lately? Have you been having negative thoughts about existing here in the world anymore? You know what I mean? Have you felt hopeless? Have you felt like life is not worth living? Like, I don't know how you want to start the conversation per se, but once you do decide to have the conversation or have a friend to have the conversation, have that 1-800 hotline number there for them that they can call right then and there in your face, and that you can hear them on the phone with a counselor. Call a peer support counselor that you can refer to them, that can either talk on the phone to them or that can get there to them and be like, I'm not going to leave you till they get here with you. I'm not. Because no. You know what I mean? So it's one thing to observe it. It's another to call them out on it and say something. But it's all the more to get ready to have the resources to take them to the next step, to get them the help that they need. And help them to find hope again to see another day. Or help them find hope just to get through that night. Or get through that day, whatever time it is when you discover it and when you have the conversations with them. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that information. I'm gonna leave on that note that you're not alone. You are not alone. You are not in this by yourself. You do not have to suffer in silence under any circumstances. Say something to somebody, please. Like I said, you can email me at grid.tiffany@gmail.com. No, not that one. Sorry. Don't email me on that one. That's my business one. Email me at hearmewhenIsay.podcast@gmail.com. Again, email me at hearmewhenIsay.podcast, all one word, @gmail.com. You can inbox me on here, like leave a message or comment down below if you don't want to do that, because other comments will be there too. But those are other people in our family, in our telecommunicator world, in other call centers that may be in your neighboring call center, that may have resources close by to where you are, and they can refer to you and recommend it to you. That's my cue to get ready to go. And it can be, we're a community. I'm not here by myself, and you're not here by yourself. Hence the reason why I'm having the conversations, the hard conversations, because it's needed and it's not talked about, but it's not allowed, and you're not given the permission to do so. And when you have companies intentionally, blatantly saying, yeah, I'll give you the 1-800 number, but it's not my job to recognize when I think you need to call, that's on you. Yeah, I can give you the list of counselors that may be nearby or peer support people that's nearby, but it ain't my job to recognize when I think you're feeling different today or you're acting different today that you should give them a call. That's on you. You're an adult. You know when you need to do stuff. And I'm like, no. When people are depressed, when people are manic depressive, when people are feeling suicidal, that's when they're not thinking their best. That's when they're not thinking logically, cognitively, clearly. And that's when they need somebody to think for them, somebody to find a voice that they don't know how to find and to speak up for them. That's when accountability is needed the most. And I take it very seriously. Very, very seriously. So I may not have all the resources right now, but going to this conference and going to a couple of other conferences that I've been to have helped me to network and meet people who are way deeper into it, or should I say way more experienced, have been doing it a lot longer than me with providing help or bringing awareness to this, to first responders, and I'm bringing awareness to telecommunicators, who is not often seen as first responders, but we are the first responders. I still want to say that, and I stand on it. And it's only acknowledged in 7 states in the United States. 7 states in the whole 50 states of the United States of America. Only 7 states acknowledge telecommunicators as first responders. We got to work on that. We got to do better, because they don't acknowledge that we get vicarious trauma, that we get secondary PTSD and compassion fatigue and burnout from these calls. And that plays a part in our mental. It plays a part in our physical. It plays a part in our emotional and our spiritual. Because a lot of times I had to question God, like, how is it I have this job that is to save lives and I couldn't save my family and I couldn't save my friends? Then what is the purpose of doing this job when I need to apply it the most? Is when it's the least effective. Make it make sense, God. You can't have me out here saving the community and my personal community is gone. It's slowly dissipating right in front of me. That's not okay. The purpose and the reason of my job is contradicting itself when it comes to my personal life, and that's not okay. So it can challenge you spiritually too. I promise you it can. But when the right community with the right people around you, when you do tap into the right spiritual foundation, as time go on, as the storm still has to go high, like the storm has to pass by, you just got to weather the storm. You got to weather it. And that's just the hard part of it. The reality of it is that, like the Bible says, as long as the earth remains, there are going to be sunshine and there is going to be rain. There is going to be snow, and then there's going to be winter, and then there's going to be summer, and all of the opposites. So as long as the earth remains, you're gonna experience all of it, the good and the bad. But you can't appreciate the good if you don't have some bad, because how will you know what's good if you didn't know what bad looked like? So now that you know what the bad look like, you know how to stay away from it, you know how to recognize it and be like, no, I don't want that. So when good comes, you be like, oh, this ain't nothing like that, so this has to be good. And you really appreciate it, you really enjoy it. Alright, I don't want to ramble, I don't want to keep, feel like I'm going off on a tangent or anything, but I just want to be intentional about getting prepared to go into National Suicide Awareness Month in the next couple of days. And the suicide rate is going up for people as a whole, but also for first responders and our telecommunicators who feel like because we talk so much and we have to hear what everybody else have to say, that we don't have a voice and that we can't scream for help and that we can't reach out. There is somebody who will listen to you and will take you very seriously. You just don't stop talking. Don't stop talking. Keep talking, keep texting, keep emailing or something until the right person listens. Because like I said, everybody ain't for you. Everybody ain't going to be that accountability partner, but there is an accountability partner out there for you. So do not stop. Hear me when I say do not stop talking. Do not stop reaching out. Do not stop waving the flag and shooting the flare guns until somebody, the right person, hears you and will respond to you. Not react. Like, girl, what? But respond and be like, okay, let's do this, let's do that, and we're going to move forward. And I'm not leaving until you come up out of this thing. I'm not leaving until I know you're okay. And it's not a fake okay, but it's a genuine okay. So, since the jobs aren't going to hold each other accountable because they don't want the liability, it's not their responsibility, we got to hold each other accountable. We got to do our best to help each other, because quitting the job is not an option. We still got bills to pay. We still got mouths to feed, a roof, car, all of the things. So quitting and just going to find another job is not it. We clearly apply for this job because we have a heart for it, we have a passion for it, but the stress of it and the traumas of it don't make it easy to do. But it don't mean that that's not a job that still needs to be done. So, hear me when I say, comment down below. My Instagram is MissMZ_Tiffany, TIFFANY.WGV. So you can inbox me on Instagram. And you can email me. Like I said, email me at hearmewhenISayPodcast@gmail.com. Okay? And I mean this. Say something. Anything. A whisper. Because we need you. You are very essential to your family, to your friends, but to us as a telecommunicator community. And you're essential to that next caller who only needs to hear your voice to tell them everything's going to be okay. To only hear your voice to say help is on the way. Your voice, not mine. Because my accent ain't going to always cut it. My tone ain't going to be the right tone all the time for those callers. But your voice is. So we need you. Okay? I'm your boo, Lady T. Love you. So next time, on the next episode of Hear Me When I Say podcast, I look forward to hearing what you have to say.